The morning sun barely touched the skyline of Los Angeles when Ethan Miller's old, beat-up sedan sputtered to a halt on the side of a busy street. Smoke curled from the hood like the car had given up on life entirely. Ethan, 28, with tired eyes but an unbroken spirit, stepped out and kicked the tire in frustration. Rent was due, his little sister's medical bills were piling up, and now this. Life felt relentless. With no other choice, Ethan slung his worn backpack over his shoulder and walked toward the nearest bus stop. The air was thick with the scent of street coffee and asphalt. He tried to mask his worry with calm, but his stomach twisted with anxiety. Today, like so many others, was testing his patience. The bus screeched to a stop. Ethan hesitated, scanning the interior. A group of businessmen in tailored suits whispered and laughed near the front. Teens in oversized hoodies slouched in the back, phones glued to their hands. And then there were a few rough-looking men, sneering and whispering among themselves as Ethan stepped in. He chose a middle seat, head down, trying to disappear. Almost immediately, the murmurs started. Check out his shoes. Ragged, one muttered. Another added, I bet he takes this bus every day. There. Ethan's cheeks burned. Normally, he might have defended himself. Today, he held his silence. Pride, he reminded himself, was a luxury he couldn't afford. Halfway through the ride, the bus jolted over a pothole. A mother struggled with her groceries, and her toddler wobbled dangerously. Without thinking, Ethan rushed to steady the stroller and gather the spilled bags. The rough men on the bus snickered, expecting embarrassment. Instead, other passengers nodded quietly at Ethan's kindness. For the first time that morning, he felt a flicker of pride, not from money, but from doing what was right. As the bus continued, one of the teens dropped his expensive headphones. Ethan bent down and returned them with a polite smile. The teen looked at him suspiciously, then shrugged. Thanks, man. Ethan resisted the urge to mention anything about his life or achievements. Today wasn't about impressing anyone. The bus neared downtown LA. Ethan stood as the driver announced the final stop. All around him, the same men who had whispered earlier glanced with mild disdain, thinking they had him figured out. But Ethan had a quiet confidence only they couldn't see. Stepping off the bus, he walked a few yards toward the street and froze. Parked perfectly by the curb was his brand new Mercedes G-Class. Its black chrome gleamed under the morning sun, the tires polished like mirrors. He had purchased it last week, a reward after months of tireless work on his tech startup, finally beginning to pay off. Gasps erupted from the bus passengers who had mocked him moments ago. Their eyes widened, mouths dropped open. Even the teens and the mother with her toddler turned slowly, stunned. Ethan smiled, not arrogantly, but warmly. He waved. Good morning, everyone, he said with a chuckle. God bless your day. The stunned silence turned into something unexpected. Respect. A subtle admiration that money alone couldn't buy. The Mercedes was impressive, yes, but Ethan's humility, his quiet confidence, his acts of kindness were what truly left an impression. He slid into the driver's seat and drove off, leaving behind a bus full of astonished faces. That simple bus ride, filled with small judgments and whispered mockery, came a moment of reflection for everyone who had witnessed it. Weeks later, some of them started performing small acts of kindness, inspired by Ethan's grace. For Ethan, it was a reminder. True success is not measured by wealth, but by how you carry yourself and treat others along the way.